Let's get a bit into the gameplay of Crypto Fight Club. So, what's it like playing the game? What should players expect? What
So
are there? How many game modes are there? Is there like a sort of armor system? You said RuneScape. Are there wearables?
everything is there. Everything is there. One cool thing that we're doing is we're gonna build out, obviously, also science fiction kind of environments where people can fight, but we also have interest from real world fighting gyms that want to have their gym built out in this game. So that's something very cool, especially if you're training MMA, you're training Muay Thai, and you go into one of these gyms in Southeast Asia and you actually recognize. So we have one gym that's now rebranding. It's going to be Elite Fight Club slash CFC. I'm very actually excited sharing that with the community. It's going to look very cool. For the gameplay itself, it's quite simple. You have a fighter, it's an NFT. The fighter itself can evolve with its stats. And you also have wearables that we're going to be releasing. These are also going to be NFTs. So you can have different boxing gloves, shoes, pants, you name it. And that basically will influence the abilities of the fighter and how they perform in battle, obviously. For the player versus player mode, we're going to have the wagering system where you can battle people for fight tokens, for NFTs, world championships, for example, like they have in Muay Thai. You fight one guy, you move up, and then the finals, and whoever wins basically gets a one-on-one NFT, or we can also do something more special. The actual gameplay and how it's going to work is you're going to have a limited amount of cards in your deck. The deck is obviously shuffled. You have a limited amount of turns that you can make. So your stamina is obviously limited, so you need to pace yourself. And then there's different attribute cards, which are also going to be NFTs. So you can either attack, you can defend, or you can buff the opponent. And then you're trying to place it basically strategically and trying to win over the rounds.
So it sounds like the fighters are a deck of cards. Is that a the right way to think of it?
It is a card-based skill-based game, yeah.
Okay. So how much random versus skill do you think there is in terms of like you're depending on the luck of the draw, or versus you've built the deck and you have access to everything in there? That would be like 100% skill based, is like I have access to every card. And like if you're drawing 5 cards out of a 20 card deck, that would be like a 25% randomization kind of thing.
Correct. So there is obviously going to be the element of randomness because you can't just make it like, okay, it's always time the same. Things like technique, for example, are used to help you land a critical hit and also dodge ahead of the opponent, for example. So there's a little bit of randomness. What we're also thinking, or what we actually have to implement, is going to be a scoring board. So obviously your public address from your MetaMask is going to be like your user ID and password in that case. And obviously, if you just butcher all the competition and you have a 90% win streak, you need to be higher in the leaderboard than somebody who just started. So obviously matching people that have equal skills. And what we're also thinking is the higher you get, the more the gameplay is going to be affected, and also the randomness of the game. So there always needs to be an element where the guy who is on top can be taken down from the top, and also the guy that's very at the bottom can work his way up. So we're all keeping these dynamics in mind.
Yeah, the gold standard for that would be an ELO system, like in chess. That's what League of Legends uses. Is that what you're going with, like an ELO system, so that there's not too much, so that it doesn't just go infinitely?
No, there's always a cap. Yeah, there needs to be a cap. Like you can't have somebody who's well, what you don't want is obviously the pay to win guys. Obviously, just coming in buying the best NFT, which is also a hard thing to do. It's like obviously if you had just spent shit tons of money, you get the best wearables, you get the best cards, you get everything on the open market because you can trade these NFTs. Then that's a bit of a hard one to mitigate. But yes, it needs to be a fair way where people can basically compete against each other on a fair level. Yeah, that's very, very important.
I see the characters. They have like actual wearables. I mean, they're wearing gloves and shoes. Are those just part of the design, or are those things you wear? Do they do anything?
At this point, this is just the base fighters. So the base fighters are gonna look like this. They're gonna be equipped like this, but later on, what we're gonna release is like different wearables. We're hoping also for some partnerships. So basically having these wearables branded by one of our partners that will come in, and then basically swapping them out according to your fight that you're gonna go into. Because, like I said before, these wearables will affect your abilities and also change the ability of the fighter and how he's going to behave in the battle. So yeah, that's actually a very, very cool component. So where you basically build and customize your fighter according to the strategy that you're picking.